This week, we play and review the Destiny 2 beta, and in the news, Valve stands atop Mount Olympus and cares not about your mortal cries. Nintendo announces that tons of indies are switching to its platform. I was
doesn't make it any more believable.
I was going to signal to you to groan at that joke, and then you guys groaned at it without the signal.
That's a bad joke.
And Sony wants nothing more than to get its junk on your face. And more. It's Game Club Reviews with News. Okay, so enjoy some footage of the Destiny 2 beta while we cover the video game news of the week. And then at the end of the video, we'll come back and review this Destiny 2 beta. Okay, so Chris, we were talking about this just a little bit ago, and you too, Garrett. Oh, by the way, welcome to the podcast, Garrett.
Yeah, good to be here.
We were talking about Valve.
Valve, yes.
And so we talked about this last week, I'm pretty sure, that the Half-Life 3, or you might call it Episode 2, or Half-Life 2 Episode 3, however you want to call 3. The script was leaked by the original writer, and I figured there's a pretty good follow-up to this story that people apparently are going on the Dota 2 Steam page and leaving tons and tons of negative reviews because Valve didn't make Half-Life 3.
Does it even mention Dota like in the review, or they're just talking about Half-Life 3 the whole time?
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, they need somewhere to vent.
As I saw someone say
Steam,
this week,
Valve.
Gaben is no longer God, he's a false god who no longer gives, he only takes.
I guess there's just no money in games that don't sell
How rich is
content.
Gaben now?
Oh, I mean, he has to be like that next level of rich where not only do
He's
you
a
not...
billionaire, isn't he?
He has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about Valve is Steam was, a great invention, and I use Steam and I love Steam, but it made it so Valve, there's no imperative anymore.
They're not a game maker.
Valve doesn't have to, survive.
Why would they? Why would they stop what they're doing, making billions of dollars, and go make a video game?
Yeah,
for art?
It's like when your friend wins the lottery and has $500 million, and he immediately stops doing anything.
Yeah.
He can literally do anything if he wanted to, but instead he's just home smoking weed.
But
That's all he does.
When you get the infinite money cheat code.
Right.
And there's nothing left to do.
Right.
I don't know.
The game's just not fun anymore.
I think if I had lots of money, I think I would do stuff. But
for a while.
Oh, yeah. Then you get tired of just doing stuff?
Maybe. I don't know. I'd like to find out.
Well, it's like me, every time the summer comes up, I'm thinking to myself, all these things I'm going to do when the summer's happening and I have all this free time. And then the summer hits and I just stay at home.
And it's 105 degrees.
Yeah.
That is true.
So also in the news, Sony is dropping the price of the PlayStation VR.
Again?
Yeah. Let me make sure I get these numbers right.
I haven't even seen a single thing about this except when they announced they were going to make one. Do people like this thing?
Actually, people did like it. I mean, you have to understand what you're getting into. It's the lower end, it's the budget end of VR.
It's only powered by the Pro, right? Or can the regular PlayStation?
The regular PlayStation can run it, I believe. The Pro, I think, makes it a little bit better.
Okay.
And because it also comes with its own box with a little bit more power in it. So
the VR does?
Yeah. It comes with a second box.
A little box of power.
Right. Yeah, and a bunch of just batteries in
Plus
it.
10 XP
so
or something.
Oculus dropped their price, and then HTC just dropped the Rift to 600? Or the Vive, rather. Yeah. And so now PSVR is dropping too.
Yep.
What do they want for it?
That can mean one of two things, right? It can mean either goodbye VR. This is it's like it's sailing off into the sunset very slowly.
About to join the Kinect.
Right. Or it could mean that, prices drop on hardware because in about a year or two, new hardware is going to come and replace it.
I have one of my students, her brother, the stay-at-home 26-year-old who works at Starbucks, dropped I don't know how much it was to get I think he has the HTC one a year ago, $2,000 of his hard-earned coffee shop money. And I said, what did she do with it? Goes, well, he liked it at first, and then it got kind of boring, and so his friends would just come over and get drunk and play it, and then that was more fun. And then now he hasn't turned it on in 8 months.
Drunk VR sounds
that sounds bad.
Yeah.
It sounds like projectile vomit, but you don't know where you're looking.
Maybe it was high. I don't know. Maybe it was high. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, is it kind of a maybe it's just kind of a fad?
Well, apparently
it's
had. I can't speak for Oculus, but I know that the Vive and the PSVR have had a ton of games. Lots of games, apparently. They even come out now. Lots of games. By the way, just to get it out there, it's $399 to get the PSVR with the PlayStation camera, which is pretty much a required part.
Right.
Whereas that bundle was $499 before.
But do you also need the controllers and like PS Move?
Not for all games, but it'd be smart to get controllers. If you want the controller bundle, you can get the headset with the camera with a pair of PlayStation Move controllers and a copy of PlayStation VR Worlds for $499.
Dang, that's still a lot.
Actually, it can be as low as $449.
Still a lot.
It is $449.
It's not even HD, right?
Well, no, but honestly, none of them are quite as HD as you'd want it. PSVR certainly is not as good as the Vive's quality screen.
Right.
But the problem they face is
What's the Vive? 1440?
Yeah, you
like
get
that?
the numbers for us. The problem is that these screens, the hardware has to push not only at least 60 frames and more like 90 frames is best.
Right.
But they have to do it twice over because it's for each eye.
Right.
And that just it's difficult to have all of those frames per second happening on top of having sharp resolution.
And I've never put my head through one of these VR headsets, but I would imagine I'd want like as high resolution because it's so close.
The HTC Vive is 1080 by 1200 per eye.
Right, which isn't that much considering that's right up against your eyes.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what the PSVR is there?
I will look it up.
So none of us have. We should just get one to test it out.
I've always thought about getting PlayStation VR. In fact, I almost got one like this month.
Yeah.
But for me, I have a very unique complaint, which is my eyes already suck. I already wear glasses.
Right.
And I'm already damaging them probably by playing video games and using and typing and doing work on my computer all the time. It just seems like jumping from the frying pan into the fire to get a VR system, right?
So the PSVR is 960 by 1080 per eye, which makes it 1920 by 1080 if you combine both screens.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it is lower resolution, but people, it's one of those things like once you're immersed, once you're like interested in what's happening on the screen, you end up looking past it. You know, obviously sharper is always sharper.
For $400, yeah, I'll just give up some resolution.
Yeah, and because with the Vive, the other thing about the Vive is like the true price of these things is also the hardware pushing it.
Right.
So like $399 for PSVR plus your $400 console, that makes it really an $800 purchase. But the Vive is $600 or more.
$600, but it also comes with the controllers at that price.
Right, but you have to have a PC that's going to be at least $1,300, $1,400.
970 or better.
Right, so it's a $2,000 price point when you calculate everything.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But if you already have a sweet PC.
Yeah, but if you already have a PS4, I'm just saying but the thing is, a lot of us don't have a sweet enough PC, right? I've never had a PC.
I'm looking at this
strong.
thing right now with 16 screens. I think Chris could probably play it.
He might have to turn off one of
Oculus
his
Rift.
screens. Though.
I could run two of them actually.
Is there like a Lens Pro to go for VR, so we can just rent one for like 2 days?
That's a good idea. I don't know. We'll look into that. See if we could just rent one and make Josh play scary games and videotape him
Yes.
crying in the fetal position.
Yeah, get some.
Okay, moving on here. Atlas. You guys familiar with Atlas? They make a lot of. They both make and also bring over a lot of Japanese games. They publish Japanese games. They're a Japanese company, but they're also usually responsible for bringing over smaller Japanese games into the States, usually for consoles.
I don't play it yet. There's too much reading.
Well, they have an amazing game called Catherine. I drink the Kool-Aid on Catherine. I love this game. Such a unique video game, and they're potentially teasing that they're going to be making a Catherine sequel, which makes me so excited. So I played the Catherine on PS3. It also came out in 360. So you are the main character. You're a guy, and you have a fiancée named Catherine, and I believe
she's a robot.
I believe the fiancée is Catherine spelt with a K, and she's very conservative. She's like very traditional Japanese culture, and she's putting a lot of pressure on you to sort of like get a good job and like produce a good family, and the character is feeling the pressure of this. He doesn't know if he wants to get married. He can't stand up to her, right?
Huh.
He's totally whipped.
But she's shot.
But then in a drunken night when he was out with his friends complaining about all of this, he runs into another Catherine. That's Catherine with a C.
What? Looks just
and
like her.
she's super she's like super sexualized. She's
just happens
she's
to have the same
free-minded
name.
yeah, right.
Does she own a horse?
No. And
she's not that great.
Yeah. Is that a Witcher 3? Okay, good
No,
job.
that's a Catherine the Great joke.
Oh, Catherine the Great. So, and you in your drunken
Colored hair, probably like a cool
blonde. No, she's blonde.
Okay.
She's very Americanized looking.
Okay.
And essentially, you have a one-time affair with her that night, and you wake up realizing what you've done, and it puts a whole bunch of guilt upon you for what you've done. You don't know what to do, and it's one of those games, kind of like Telltale, where you make critical decisions throughout the game, which really drastically changes the story. The endings are starkly different. There's lots of them. I loved finding out all the different endings of this game.
This is so weird.
But the gameplay element is two things. When you
Bubble
meet up
breaker.
with your friends at like whatever the bar or restaurant is, and it's kind of more conversational, walking around and doing some things there. But when you go to bed at night, you have nightmares that are like puzzles, and the puzzles are always themed over what's stressing you out. So at one point, like Catherine with Gay is talking about like having children like immediately, and in your nightmare, you're trying to get through the puzzle, but you have like a giant psycho, bloodthirsty baby chasing you through the whole thing, and so the whole thing is like working out like. Going through your fears and your nightmares, and then making decisions by day, and moving and your decisions will either become more and more nefarious, or you're trying to like be faithful, and there's all these different outcomes. The game was awesome.
How many endings are there?
I don't know, but I'm
like
gonna say at least 8.
Wow.
And very, very different endings. We can watch a few of them later.
That's
You'll
so
love
weird
it.
that this is a game that you just make like normal. Not normal. Having an affair, well, statistically might be normal.
What's normal for you, Garrett?
No, this is so like James is so excited about a game in which you just have difficult conversations.
It sounds like awkwardness.
That gives me hope for like you could come up with a video game like of the Office TV show, and it would just be like a day in the office and like what decisions you're gonna make.
Yeah,
people would probably buy it by the.
Someone
thousands.
needs to refill the copier.
Yeah.
So moving on here, Microsoft has made an open invitation to Valve, Nintendo, and
Game Club.
And Game Club
to make Half-Life 3 for any amount of money.
No, to do cross-platform play.
Okay.
And I just
bet
thought
Valve doesn't make games anymore.
right. Well, Steam. They want them to have cross-platform play with Steam.
But Steam is only on.
No, the idea is Destiny 2 comes out. And let's say it's a Steam game, which I don't think it is. And then you can also get it on the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One.
It's on Blizzard's app.
Right. So what they would want is for you to be able to like play Destiny on
PC
your Xbox One
Xbox.
with players who are playing it on whatever, Steam.
I thought some games allowed that. No?
PS4. Very few. It happens here and there between console and a PC.
Right.
I don't know if it ever happens between like Xbox and like PlayStation.
I don't think it's ever happened between all of them either.
Right.
How would
Steam? Big change.
How would Steam?
All of this
PS3
picked up Steam, because Rocket League had said about a year ago, we have everything we need in place in our own servers for everybody to go cross-platform play. We just need permission from the console manufacturers.
Well, the consoles have all gone PC architecture, right?
Because like Rocket League essentially said it'll just be flipping a switch, and so Microsoft was in on it. Sony came up with like a really cheesy excuse to get out of it.
We like money.
Yeah, and then Nintendo did sign up to do it with Microsoft. So Nintendo Switch, Rocket League, and Microsoft Xbox One and PC are all cross-platform play on Rocket League.
That's cool.
Yeah, but not Sony PlayStation.
But maybe it's just a sign of the times that it'll happen soon.
Well, I kind of wanted. That's what this was really about. I wanted to get your impression. I have my very strong opinion on what this really is, but I wanted to get your impression.
I think it'll matter on what will be the deciding factor is how well the Xbone X sells.
Right.
The what?
The Xbox One X.
Xbone X.
If it takes off and puts Sony behind again, then I bet all of a sudden they'll be like, yeah, hey guys, we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
But if they maintain their position in the market, I don't think they will.
Right. See, I think you might see, and I couldn't tell you the exact numbers or reasons, but like a slight drop in console sales because there's some games out there that people are buying consoles for so they can play that game with their friends who have a specific console.
Yeah, but that's why I bought GTA for the console instead of buying it on PC.
Because your friends were playing it.
Yeah, it's way more fun with friends. And
is why you bought GTA or is why you bought a console?
Well, I had the console anyway, but I would have bought it for PC if I didn't have friends who played it on console.
Right. I mean, I didn't buy an Xbox, but like, I wanted to play with some of my students. All I had was a PS3, and this is when everyone thought the Xbox was cheaper than PS3. So my brother had a spare Xbox, an old original one, and so I borrowed it, bought, I don't remember what game it was, Battlefield 3 or something, so I could play with my students who didn't have PS3s.
By the way, speaking of cross-pollination, this wasn't set up, but did you notice, Chris, that the Xbox One X looks like a PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like
Way to be original. Not even to be like in this decade. It's funny how things come back around.
Is it dark gray? Like
it's like the
black?
exact same shape, and both are black. It doesn't have the blue highlights.
Basically just a rectangular box.
But it's like two rectangular boxes, one slightly smaller, smashed up against each other.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's got very similar dimensions.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. So Nintendo recently did a showcase of 20 games. Some of them were fresh announcements. Some of them were just new dates and details.
Some of them were 6-year-old Skyrim games.
And I just thought we'd talk about these. These are all indies, I believe, coming to the Nintendo Switch. I'm using the list that was curated by IGN here, so credit to IGN. Some of the games that we already knew were coming was the next Shovel Knight, King of Cards, is on its way. Also, Kentucky Route Zero is coming, which I totally bought all 5 episodes and have yet to play. But I need to play it. I hear it's really good. Also, No More Heroes is coming with... I don't know if it's a remake or a fresh game, but did you guys ever play No More Heroes?
No.
It was originally a Wii game, and then it came to other stuff. It was a kind of a really wacky Japanese-themed GTA-style game, kind of. That's a weak explanation, but that's the best you're going to get. But here's some of the other games coming to the Nintendo Switch. For one, Mom Hid My Game, the explanation from IGN, otherwise known as Hidden My Game by Mom Escape Room.
Wow, can't wait.
It's a room escape game?
Yeah, this previous mobile game tasks players with finding their video games, which, as the title helpfully reveals, has been hidden by the main character's mother.
Good job, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Bringing mobile games to your newest console.
Also, Golf Story is coming to the Switch, and Floor Kids. We don't need to cover all of these, but I want to name them. Wolver Blade, Poly Bridge, Earth Atlantis. Next up here, see, Chris, we're always wondering what's the next game we're going to play. And like literally 20 of them come out a day, man.
Yeah, seriously, how do you even decide?
SteamWorld Dig 2, that's a little bit bigger title. Mulaka, Yono and the Celestial Elephants. Never played that. Dragon Marked for Death. Battle Chef Brigade, that's a good name. Morphe's Law, that's a good name. Sausage Sports Club, that's an even better name. Light Fingers and 9 Parchments. These are the ones listed by IGN. So yeah, a lot of these are actually pretty new to me. I'm gonna have to check them out. Maybe I'll get a Switch and play some of these for Game Club, or I'll just get them on Steam for like $1 next time they go on sale. But the real point here is like to see it. It seems to me, in a very limited way, Nintendo Switch is becoming the handheld Steam machine I always wanted.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There are so many Steam games I thought to myself, I'd play that if I could just play it handheld.
Sure.
Like, if I could have that in my bed before I go to bed, sleep, or if I could take it with me on, like, long trips. There's a lot of Steam games I would have already played, but...
And they're $5, $10, $15. It's better than, like, the stupid mobile platform where you've got to buy them and add on content, or they're free with ads. I mean, they probably have that in Steam, but, like, sometimes I just want, like, a really good mobile game, and I'll pay $25 for it.
If they made Enter the Gungeon on Switch...
There it is.
I might... Well, if I ever had to travel anywhere... I would go buy a Switch. Just to play Enter the Gungeon.
In a world where I travel.
Yeah. In a world where I leave the house.
Also, check this out, Chris. So, on a website, Target, the company, they're a retailer, department store. Target, their website posted temporarily and then took the post down, or put a page up and then took it down from the retail online store. A page for Bethesda Game of Thrones game.
What?
My God.
Why would they do that?
A real game? Not like... Sorry, guys. Not a Telltale Game of Thrones, I mean,
well, like, Bethesda makes what you would call real games.
I mean, like, the... I didn't mean that to come out like it did, but the
like
Telltale...
You did.
The Telltale Game of Thrones was, like, kind of like a random side story, you know, that wasn't in the show at all or anything.
But I put it this way. Bethesda doesn't do anything small.
Yeah.
Like, if they're making a Game of Thrones game, this is like Skyrim to Game of Thrones world, right?
But the other weird thing about Bethesda is they usually take a pretty long time to make their game. So have they been working on this for years and not said anything?
In secret.
Well, way back
Target blows it.
when Game of Thrones came out, when Telltale's Game of Thrones came out, which was 4
a couple years ago, yeah.
Another Game of Thrones game. Oh, wait, I'm thinking about Walking Dead, not Game of Thrones now. I messed that up. So this is what I should say instead. Maybe the Game of Thrones creators licensed this stuff out the same time as Telltale.
Yeah. And Bethesda they are
Takes
pretty
their
good
time.
at kind of keeping a secret.
Yeah. So this could be, this could be quite
Would it
the
be like
game.
a Bethesda RPG in Westeros?
Yeah.
I would play that for hours, for days, until winter.
Skyrim with too many penises. I mean, that's what it's going to be.
Nude Skyrim.
Well, they already have a mod for that, so.
Okay.
I'm sure they do.
Well,
Actually, I already have the Cloaks of Winterfell mod for Skyrim.
Okay. Well, before we get into talking about the Destiny 2 beta, let's discuss PS Plus versus Games with Gold. It's that time of the month.
All right.
We're talking about September offerings here. On the PS Plus side of things, you can get, this is a good one if you haven't played it, Infamous Second Son, which is the third Infamous game.
Oh, I was just talking about Infamous yesterday.
Yeah, such a good... Well, yeah. Infamous 1 and 2 are incredible games. Infamous Second Son is a good game.
Is it full length? Is it full size?
Oh, yeah, it's like a full-length game.
Sounds fun.
New character. It takes place in faux Seattle.
Why is it not as good? Just because it's not as original at this point?
I have a lot of complaints about it. Ultimately, I played through the whole game and was really happy that I did, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's like, put it this way, it's like when Marvel makes just a good movie, right? It's like we're used to Marvel hitting it out of the park.
Right.
What if Avengers 3 is just good?
Sure. Yeah.
It will be very disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what Second Son was for me. It was good, but I needed incredible to be happy. Some game called Strike Vector X, Truck Racer, Handball 16, We Are Doomed, I like that name, and How to Fool Boyfriend. I bet that's coming to Vita.
How to Fool Boyfriend.
Do you remember? I've talked about this on the podcast before, that I thought it was a dating simulator game in the vein of like Japanese dating sim games. But you date pigeons. And I thought to myself, this is going to be like all tongue-in-cheek and really funny, and I'm going to play this and laugh all the way through it. Little did I know it was really just a true dating sim game where they just used pigeons instead of...
That's super creepy.
There was like no jokes or anything. It wasn't a parody at all.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
So that's a combined value of $84.94 for September.
Week compared to last month.
Yeah. On the Games of Gold side of things, Forza Motorsport 5. That's a solid offering right there. Oxenfree, another solid offering. And Hydro Thunder Hurricane and Battlefield 3.
What?
That's probably for Xbox 360, Battlefield 3. For a combined value of $94.96. Yeah. So I feel like probably Games with Gold is outing PS Plus this month. That's a pretty good lineup there. Even though you definitely should play Second Son if you have the PS4. Okay, Destiny 2 beta, Chris.
Destiny 2. Okay, so disclaimer, it is a beta, right? So very limited. We had one story mission, one co-op mission, and I saw one map when I was doing the multiplayer competitive. I'm going to say... Well, first of all,
is it worth the money, Chris?
First off, is it worth the free money? I don't know. I'm still a little bitter at Bungie over Destiny 1.
Okay.
I'm a little bitter that their season pass didn't cover all the DLC.
Yeah, it was like the first year, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then they did a second season.
Yeah.
They didn't call it that, but it was like the Taken King. And
they didn't put the story in the game. And what else
you mean the one player like playthrough story?
Yeah. You actually go meet the guy like who's running things, and he says, "I could tell you what happened, but we don't have time."
And then you have to buy that.
No, I'll wait. Go ahead and tell me what happened.
Yeah, and then you have to like outside of the game find out the story.
You have to find the cards and then go to the website and
what?
Yeah.
That's just trash.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
And so I had a lot of problems.
A bad
with Destiny
McDonald's
1.
promotion.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. This game, I will say, if you're a fan of the first one, you probably enjoy this one.
Okay.
So it feels about the same.
Is it any better or different than this first one?
It's hard to say because it was just a beta, but it looked beautiful. The levels look great.
I want to bring out one of your criticisms that we talked about. You said that it doesn't feel like it evolved with where
Yes.
games have gone
Yes.
recently, FPS games.
So yeah, FPS. Anybody who's listening to this knows I'm a fan of Titanfall 2. I love the controls. I love how fast you move. I love wall running, all this stuff. How agile you feel when you play it. How capable you feel. Even you get to the end of the match and you got slaughtered the whole time, and you still feel like you were awesome.
Yeah, and Titanfall started that trend, but a lot of games followed.
Right. And I did not feel any of that with Destiny 2. It wasn't.
It felt like Halo 3 still.
It wasn't clunky. It wasn't as clunky as that. If you ever try and go back and play old Halos, it's really rough. But there were things, like one thing I noticed is you can't pull yourself up onto ledges. So Titanfall, Halo, I don't know if some other ones have gotten to where if you can't quite jump on the ledge, your guy will just pull himself up the rest of the way.
Yeah, his hands will pop out and
Yeah.
grab it.
They didn't do that.
So if you
And I was
going
like-
if you going jump up and the ledge goes to your knees, you can't get over it.
Yeah.
Which-
So you're back to those days.
Which visually is kind of silly when you think about it. It means that the guy is jumping at it and letting his waist smack into the
Yeah.
wall and then falling straight down.
So it feels like we went backwards 5 years or
Yeah.
something.
Maybe it's a beta thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's why we said it is the beta.
Yeah.
We got to give it that break,
Does it feel like if I told you, if I didn't tell you the title of this game, would you feel like maybe it's just one more DLC for the original?
Yeah, maybe. Well,
I mean,
yeah, maybe.
From the footage I saw, it looks like there's a lot more happening on the screen than the first
It,
one.
it
had.
was busy, and like the story mission is exciting, and I might play it for the story.
Yeah.
But it really feels like it could just be another grind fest like the first one was.
Yeah.
maybe
Now,
it's just a money machine, right? So like, oh man, no one's buying our season pass anymore. Okay, let's put out a Destiny 2, change it a little bit.
well, this was
And
the
then ready?
plan.
See-
Yeah,
Season
this
pass.
is it's a whole new story, a new plot, and all that.
Yeah. To make sure that I cover all the Halo or not Halo, all the Destiny fans who are yelling into their earbuds right
Telling
now.
us how stupid we are.
Wait, before the first Destiny even came out, they put out a plan, a year-by-year plan, and Destiny 2 is coming out according
Yeah.
to that plan.
And it was always going to have new content coming, and
Right.
blah,
When's the
blah.
first one come out?
I want to say 2012. No, that's too long ago. It's got to have been 2014?
Probably
Yeah.
14, 15, something like that.
So, because the plan was like to put out Destiny and then have DLC for a year and then have a big addition to Destiny for year 2 and then have smaller DLC that adds to that, which they totally did. The Taken King was that big refresh, that big addition. And now just almost right on time is Destiny 2. So this isn't something that they're reacting to.
Yeah.
They didn't just
It's not just a last minute money grab.
right. So we got to give it that. But Chris, in the advertisements, the advertisement. So the advertisements for the first Destiny were all like dead serious advertisement, like, you're the last of this and you're our only hope for that, right? But the advertisements for Destiny 2 have all been very tongue in cheek and humorous and like silly speeches. Did you catch any of that in the beta?
A little bit. I think it sounded like, and I'll have to double check this, but it sounded like the main character or whatever is voiced by Nathan Fillion.
Oh, okay.
And so he always brings a little humor
Right,
to
right.
things, right?
A lot of personality.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, Nathan Fillion's the voice of Nathan Drake,
So I
among
should
other,
double-check
and also
that.
was the voice of Deadpool in the Deadpool game.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it just Nathan Fillion whenever he plays anything?
Oh wait, Nathan Fillion. I'm thinking a different guy.
Nathan Fillion's from Firefly.
Yeah, the Firefly guy.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of somebody completely else. Excuse me, not the voice of Deadpool nor Nathan Drake. But what got my sort of string,
Yeah,
my wires,
Destiny 2, he's in it.
what got my wires crossed there was people wanted Nathan Fillion to act the character of Nathan Drake in the movie,
Oh, okay.
even though Sony wouldn't listen to that.
Yeah, and he was also in Halo Reach, if you remember.
Really?
And
I
in-
didn't know that.
So then they brought him back in the Halo universe. He becomes a Spartan now.
Hmm.
But I mean, just overall, I was just kind of unimpressed.
Hmm.
You know, visually very awesome, but and again, it's hard because it's a beta, so all the mechanics aren't in there. All the loot system is not what it's going to be.
Also, another part of it, not to give it an out, but just to sort of like recognize the facts. Destiny is one of those games that it's about breadth, not depth.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of it.
Yeah.
And the focus of the team has to be about how big it is and the
Yeah.
scope of it.
So it's really hard to judge it off one little beta
Right.
that's very limited. And
It's like I love Borderlands 2, but if I judged Borderlands 2 on like 5 minutes of play,
Right.
I wouldn't understand it.
And I am a little irritated too that consoles will be getting it this week, and us PC guys won't get it till October.
I understood why that happened with the first Destiny, because Sony like pretty much got in bed with Bungie to like push the PS4 with Bungie. But that's not the case this time. Why are they just loving the consoles so much?
I don't know. So it is what it is.
Same thing with GTA, right?
Yeah,
it always
forever.
comes to
But-
PCs last.
Yeah, they just don't care about us, folks. If you're a PC player, remember that. But with your dollars.
Okay. Well, what do you want to give a last thought about whether people should jump out on the first day and play it?
If you're buying a graphics card and it comes free, yeah, go for it. Play it.
Okay.
If you love the first one, yeah, go ahead. If you thought the first one was okay, you might want to hang on a little.
Maybe wait for its version of the Taken King to beef it
Yeah.
up. Okay, that's a good concluding. So hey, thanks Garrett, thanks
Yep.
Chris. That was a pretty good game club. Catch you later. We at Game Club want to thank you for watching this video, and if you would please like, subscribe right here, watch a couple extra videos, and keep playing games.